Okay guys, hello and welcome back to a new episode. In this one we're having a bit more of an in-depth analysis on Apxt because of course the past week has brought a lot of volatility in the price. We have actually been down quite a bit towards the later part of the week, and that is interesting because the earnings and all that kind of good stuff did come out. Now I said that we were going to look at this one on Saturday, but obviously I did not make any videos on Saturday yesterday, so we are doing it on tonight's episode. And of course we are combining this one with a deep look in the company and of course a look into next week in my personal opinion. So guys, this is not financial advice, so please use it for entertainment only, but it is my personal views. If it is something that you might enjoy though, please do leave a like and subscribe, it would be appreciated as we are trying to grow the channel, so of course each subscriber does help us out. And of course with that being said guys, do remember that I am not a financial advisor, so you need to make sure that you do your own research, but with that being said we're going to jump straight into the video. So yeah guys, Apxt has been moving very interestingly over the past week. So initially we had this hype about the merger, and the S4 filings being announced. And the interesting thing is, so usually when the S4 filings did get announced, of course the S4 filings were the official documents, which means that the merger is going through. But this time, once they actually went through, the price of the share dropped by a significant amount. Now that is actually a bit distressing because looking at how other mergers work, basically we get a lot of anticipation leading up until that. And then of course once this merger thing is officialized through the S4 filing, we usually see the price increase. With Apxt, we have seen it go down a little bit, and of course, even for the whole week, we are actually pretty neutral with a gain of only 1.5%. Now, like I said, guys, Apxt has actually been kind of disappointing over the past month because if we do have a look at the price movement, we're up by about 3%, but obviously for a SPAC, it's pretty flat. You can see in the graph, it was basically moving quite a lot to the upside, and then you know what? We just shot down, so that is not what we like to see with this one, and of course, now we are kind of reaching a low point. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a quick look at some of those financial reports and how the company was actually doing revenue wise. So it's interesting to see the company's stock drop, or at least the merger stock drop, because if we look on the Nasdaq website, we can see that the revenue figures were decent. Now we're not going to have a quick, we're not going to have a full-on deep dive into these ones, but you can see revenue was up by 30%. Recurring revenue was up by 33%. Subscription revenue up by 62%. And of course, all of these figures are absolutely fantastic. We can see, the full revenue is actually up as well by 29%. So this is amazing figures that we are seeing with this company. Obviously, from a fundamental standpoint, it shows that AvePoint is definitely a decent company, and of course, the long-term growth is definitely there, in my opinion. Obviously, it does work in the Microsoft 365 sector, mainly in the cloud solutions one, because they do a lot of stuff when it comes to managing data on Microsoft 365. And of course, we can see the main functions of their platform right here, which is to migrate data, to manage data, and of course, to ultimately protect data. So, of course, they are trusted by many different companies. We've looked at this one before. Some of these names you may recognize, some of these you may not, but we have companies in there like Cambridge Consultants, T-Systems, Oak Ridge, CMEX, and of course a lot of other companies which you may or may not have heard of, but obviously they have a lot of customers and revenue for the company is increasing every single period by the way that it looks. And of course this company is very ambitious when it comes to growth, so we'll probably be seeing revenue increase into the future. So of course look at these figures and then looking at the share price, it's very interesting to see that the share price has actually fallen because we would have expected these great figures to have brought the share price up, and I think a lot of people were anticipating that. Now, obviously, this has kind of had an influence in the share price overall, because we can see in just the 2 days or 3 days, we have actually seen the share price increase by about 11.94%, so almost 12%. That's not too big, to be honest, and I would have thought it may have flattened out, if not shot up a bit more after that. But you know what? We sold off by another significant percent, so we can see we were down about 8%, which means that we only went up by about 2% in this whole period, which honestly is pretty disappointing. Now, of course, up until the merger, guys, we do still have time, and I think that this stock could definitely see some growth. I think it is due some growth, and I think looking into next week, we could definitely see this one hopefully at least flatten out at the worst case scenario, and also hopefully make a bit of a upturn towards the end of next week. So I'm not 100% sure where this one is going, but in my opinion, guys, I don't think it will be going down much more, and if it was, I would be very concerned. Now, of course, looking at Apxt on the Friday, we can see that we did see a bit of a sell-off from about 1:30, so that's not great, but obviously towards the end of session, this sell-off did kind of slow down in volatility, APXT, and it does kind of indicate that things may be getting a little bit better, you know, looking at the post-close session of the market. So obviously things not doing too bad at the end of the day, but obviously looking into next week, we'll definitely be wanting to see this one come back into the green, because if it didn't, guys, I would be pretty concerned. Now, people have been asking me my personal, you know, merger target, and of course it is changing now, and I used to say in previous videos that I anticipate this one going to $30 pre-merger, and you know what, guys, I still do kind of stand with that one, but obviously look at the financials that we are seeing right now, i.e. the shares price. Obviously, the financial reports for the company are fantastic, and the share price is still falling. Now, APXT has kind of been a disappointing SPAC so far, and there is still time for this one to grow, and honestly I would hope that it will grow a bit more, but obviously look at this one so far, I'm not too sure how much more growth we are going to see. I'd definitely like us to break past $20 pre-merger, and if we didn't even get that high, I would be pretty worried. I definitely still think that there is time for this one to break past $30, and the reason why I say that is because yes, it has been dropping a lot, but we can see, guys, when this one does move, it moves pretty fast. We've seen about a $2 increase in one day over here, and of course a similar thing over these few days, so honestly there is still enough time in my personal view for this one to pick up some motion. I think next week should be pretty flat, if not a little bit into the green. I think if that is the case, we're still in a good standing for this one to hit some decent targets, you know, at the time of the merger. So right now, guys, I'd say a very optimistic target is around $30. I would say a low target is around $20, or maybe even around, $19, but basically around the $20 mark would be reasonable, I would think. And I think that we definitely still do have potential to pass that $25 mark and hopefully even touch the $30 mark. But obviously, guys, if this one doesn't start to pick up traction soon, I would be pretty worried. Now, personally, I do actually hold some shares of APXT, and right now I am down on my position. Am I too concerned about this one? I'm not too concerned because my position's not too large, but obviously, guys, I'm in this one for around the merger date and potentially even long term, because either way, guys, this one still does have potential to see growth post-merger, as some SPACs do see. It's very rare, guys, but we do see it in some cases where the pre-merger target is actually pretty flat, and then of course once that merger becomes official, a lot more investors are attracted to it and a lot more people buy it. So I think it's quite interesting when that does happen, but I think there is still room for that to happen with APXT. So guys, I am still watching this one carefully into next week, and if you do enjoy watching videos on APXT, please do leave a like and subscribe, it would be appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye until then.